Alec, good to be back at Star GB. We're looking today at the SR32 J3. Now, this is a successor to the J2, so it's going to be of interest to companies that have probably got a 32mm machine already, or are, in fact, in the market for a new one. Tell us what's different.
For sure. The specification has increased ever so slightly on this model, but the main difference is really on the back tool post. So we've changed the arrangement there, so it's a lot more rigid, but it also includes much superior swarf clearance on the back side.
So what's changed then? How has it changed?
In layman's terms, the moving slide has gone from the back of the casting to the front of the casting, but we've also changed the guiding around it as well, just to give us a lot more room to get the swarf away.
Could that have been a problem before then, the fact, I mean, these machines are notorious for metal removal, aren't they? So the more metal you're removing, certainly with more power and more speed,
for sure,
there is that possibility.
What we've tried to do is, obviously, we don't want swarf building up around that casting, getting into the gearbox and things like that. So this machine gives us much better swarf clearance and reduces any risk that we, could have a problem.
So that unmanned run becomes even more of a possibility, doesn't it?
It's a more efficient machine, basically.
What about your second spindle? Some changes there with the coolant?
Like I say, the specification has increased. We're now including sub-flush as standard on this model as well. There's a couple of other subtle changes in terms of the ergonomics. Lubricators, oil top-ups are all at the front of the machine to make it a little bit easier for our customers. The changeover procedure as well is a little bit easier. We included some extra jigs and fixtures in the changeover procedure, which we didn't have before, so that will speed that process up as well.
The changeover of what?
Guide bush, non-guide bush.
Okay, so that will become a bit quicker.
A little bit easier, yeah.
Not saying it was cumbersome, but a little bit easier.
For sure.
Which means going from that sort of almost fixed head scenario to a sliding head is going to become something that will be attractive to people doing varieties.
Yeah. We've just made it a little bit easier to get it sorted.
Okay, Alec, who is interested in these SR32s these days? Forget the new enhancements and the succession on the model. Where do they fit in terms of the fact that they're even more flexible now? They're much faster than they used to be, much more powerful.
It's a great question, and to be honest, the 32 size machine has always been our most popular model in the range. In Germany, it's the 20R4. In America, it's the SB20.
But that must be something to do with our industry.
It is just weird. I think what our customer base is looking for is versatility. And for sure, okay, you might not be able to machine the micro parts on this machine that well, but everything up from 3mm above in terms of bar capacity, this machine gives you that capability.
And that flexibility then, Alec, that comes a lot from the amount of tools stations that you have on this machine, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Variety of fixed driven tool spindles, but we can get up to 39 tools in this machine. And
what about the B-axis? Is that an option on here too?
Not on this model. On the SR38, obviously the bigger brother to this machine, we've got the programmable B-axis.
And it's just coincidental that you've got a new bar feed on here from FMB, have you?
We have.
Some enhancements there. Tell us about that.
That's the Turbo RS. So the main difference on that bar feeder is that it combines two different types of technology. We've had the LSK bar feeder for 5 or 6 years now, and the turbo bar feeder for a long while. But basically, instead of having a lathe steady on the back of the spindle and a bar feeder steady, we have a lathe steady and a long tube that moves with the headstock. So basically, that transition area between the two steadies is moved back down the bar feeder where there's a lot more support. So it's much better in terms of supporting the material closer to the main collet.
And what's the risk of not being able to support the material in the way that you're talking about there?
Well, the problem is when you've got the bar stock and the main pusher, the steadies open and close as that main pusher moves forward. So there's always a point where one steady is open, one steady is closed.
Okay.
So you can get some vibration. But with this system, you've only got one steady and an awful long tube, where you've got much better support on the bar feeder side.